First off, congratulations. If you're watching this video, that means you already have your admit in your hands, and now you have to prove to the visa authorities that you can actually afford your education. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about how I myself cleared my F-1 visa interview, showed the proof of the funds basically, and I've helped since then 20,000 plus cases prove the exact same. Today I'm going to be giving you that exact information for free. Hi guys, my name is Yash and I make a lot of videos about studying overseas, moving overseas and living overseas. So if that's your gig, make sure to subscribe to the channel and follow me on Instagram. Guys, in this video, we're going to be targeting a couple of questions that are critical for any student who's going for studying overseas in the US, because these help you prove the funds, without which of course your visa will not be given to you. The first question is, how much funds do you need to show? Second is the forms of funds acceptable. What kind of funds should you show? Should you show PF? Should you show bank balance? Should you show loans? Should you show stocks, real estate? What should you show, right? We're going to be talking about that. Third, very important question which I get asked a lot is, how long do you need to keep these funds in your account, especially if you're showing, let's say, a bank statement. Fourth, alternative to showing funds. Let's say you don't have the money, what do you do in that case? Fifth, who are the possible sponsors that you can actually take money from in order to show the funds? And sixth are the exact documents that you should be carrying with you for the interview. We're going to be covering all of these 6 questions in this video. And as a bonus, I'm going to be telling you how I, in my own interview, got through without actually proving the finances. Well, in a way, we're going to be discussing that as well. So guys, to be able to answer these 6 questions, I need to explain something to you. And for that, let's go on to the computer and let me actually show you what an I-20 looks like. And I think this is something that you would have already seen if you know what you're doing over here. Otherwise, if you're seeing it for the first time, don't worry, this is just your personal information. This is the school information that you're going for. And then there's the program information, what kind of a course you're studying over there, right? And finally comes your financials. This is the part that we're going to be focusing on in this video, because on the left side, it tells you for essentially 1 year itself, 9 months, but essentially approximately 1 year, leaving out the vacations, right? These are the tuition and fee. These are the living expenses. And if you have any dependents, this is their estimated expense as well. So they estimate everything for you. This is what your school has done for you and then sent it to the Department of Homeland Security, right? And this is when you've already proven the funds to the school. Now, what you would do is, from the right side, what they show on the right side is, okay, how did you prove the funds to the school? Now, these two values will match, 32,000, 32,000. Okay, so you showed over here $3,000 of your own funds and 29,000 was given to you as a scholarship. That means you only have to show $3,000 per annum essentially. That, okay, this is what I have to pay and this is my bank balance as well, right? If you could show that, that would be good. However, do you have to show 3,000 or a little bit more? We're going to talk about that. But this is not how most of the I-20s will look like, by the way. An actual I-20 for most of the students will not have a lot of scholarship on it. You may have a lot of scholarship on it if you're lucky, but let's talk about cases where you don't. And in that case, you will have, let's say, 38,000 tuition, living expenses 23,000, total 61,000. And how do you have to prove the funds over here? Well, the student has taken an education loan and shown the rest of the funds from family, and this is how they're proving it. Okay? So this is essentially how the student has proven the funds to the university. Now, this is what you have to do with the visa authorities as well. Now, our first question, how much funds do you need to actually show? My advice is that you take this number, so 61,600, and you multiply it by 1.5. That gives you $92,400. If you could show somewhere around this amount, okay, that means, because your program may not be just 1 year long. If it's 1 year long, just show 61,000 or even a little bit lesser is okay. But if your program is 2 years long, for instance, then you want to show somewhere around 1.5, 1.4 times at least, right? So that what happens is you can show that you'll be able to afford it for the next year as well. All right? That's essentially how you show the funds, how much you show the funds. Number 2, let's move on to the forms of funds acceptable. What kind of funds to show? So here is a list of documents that work. Number one is bank balance. That means you're showing your bank statement, right? Or you're getting a letter from the bank stating that this amount is actually equivalent to so and so US dollars, and you can actually take it out on any day of the week that you want. Number two way is fixed deposits. Now your fixed deposits should be liquid. The key word here is always going to be liquid. If your fixed deposit is liquefiable, you can go ahead tomorrow to the bank and liquefy it, get the money in your hands, get the cash. Absolutely, you can show fixed deposits. Provident fund. Yes, you can actually show your or your parents' provident fund as well. It's allowed, it works. The fourth document is a loan sanction letter. Yes, so what that means is when you don't really have the money, you can just take out a loan. Now you don't really have to take the loan, but you'd pay 1% of it, you get the sanction letter, and what that means is that this letter states that, okay, if you want, you can withdraw up to $90,000 or whatever $1,000 you want from this account anytime for your education. All right, and that's how a loan sanction letter works. Now I understand you may have trouble getting loans, right? And it's difficult. Some people have no collateral, some people have no co-signers, and you may have both of these things, but you may have some requirements of low rates of interest. Well, I'm happy to let you know that you can take a look at our education loans page right over here, where you can actually fill up one form, and this one form will send data to all the major lenders across town, get you the best lenders who are interested in your profile, and then they'll connect with you and let you know what kind of rates they can offer you, the best possible ones on the market. And the best part is that the whole process from our end is free, so you go ahead, you fill up this form, and we'll take care of everything. Alright, the next letter that works is a CA certificate. People use it a lot when they have real estate, they have assets which are illiquid, but I personally am against using it so much because first off, it is a very costly document to acquire. I do not believe it is worth it. Secondly, in a lot of cases, if you show illiquid assets, which by the way the CA will be adding to his CA certificate, well, a lot of times there have been complications. The next document will be a scholarship or a fellowship proof. Remember in one of the I-20s I showed you there was a $29,000 scholarship. You can actually have a proof of that scholarship. Well, your I-20 is proof enough, but still you can keep a proof from the university in writing. They usually send it to you that, hey, you've been given this amount of scholarship, and you can show that as well. And finally, if nothing works, you can show a sponsorship letter or an affidavit. What that means is you can actually get someone from your family, and we're going to be talking about who you can get from your family to actually sponsor you, but still someone from your family to sponsor you, and they can sign an affidavit that yes, I'm willing to support his or her education, and this is the amount that I'm willing to spend. And as long as that amount is within the range that I mentioned previously, you're good to go. Two documents that I want you to avoid a little bit. All right, number one is stocks. Why should you avoid stocks? They're fluctuating assets. The value keeps on going up and down, up and down. Today, your stocks may be at a great value. Tomorrow, your stock may crash. You do not know that. Things happen. And if you've been in the stock market long enough, you would know that stocks, unless of course the money is liquefiable and you get out of the stock, take the money back into your bank account, it's really not worth showing. The second thing that I would like you to avoid is using real estate valuation documents, because real estate is usually considered illiquid. That means if you want today, you want to sell your real estate, it can be 6 months from now till when you sell it. However, if you need the money today for the university, for the tuition fee, university will not wait 6 months for your asset to be sold. So please keep that in mind. Question number 3, how long do you need to keep these funds in your account? I would suggest keep them from 2 to 4 weeks if possible. All right, don't get the funds today, take the statement out 2 days later, and just go to the embassy for the interview. That's very risky, especially if you've never held that kind of balance before. What I would suggest is keep that balance in your account for a while, or take a sponsorship letter from someone who already has the balance and is ready to sponsor you. But do not just get the balance today, get the printout tomorrow, and then show it to the embassy. Point number 4, alternative to showing funds. There's quite a few things you can do over here, and I'm going to be talking about that in the bonus as well. But I would say the best alternative is that you get a loan sanction letter. You pay 1%, but you have a letter saying that you are able to actually afford this program, essentially because the loaning organization is backing you, and that's good enough, more than good enough. Number 5 is the possible sponsors, and this is very important, my friend. So listen up, your parents can definitely sponsor you, absolutely, but all your blood relatives can actually sponsor you. So your grandparents can sponsor you. Your dad's brother can also be sponsoring you. So your uncle can sponsor you. There's a lot of people, a lot of cousins can sponsor you. It doesn't have to be exactly you or very close family. It can be someone else as well, all right? But at the end of the day, they have to sign an affidavit that yes, we pledge that we would be supporting the student in their education and we are ready to spend this amount of money whenever they need for the education. Let's talk about which documents to carry for your interview. Most important document, I-20, don't forget it. Take your service fee receipt, it's also an important document. Bank statement if you're proving the funds using your bank balance. Salary slip, whether it's yours or your sponsors, depending on who's funding your education, should be taken. Income tax returns for the last 3 years, if possible. Take those, it's gonna help you massively. Scholarship proof, if you have a scholarship, it may be on your I-20, it may not be on your I-20 in some cases, but at the end of the day, the university must have sent you a letter with your admission, take that. Proof of fixed deposit or bank balance. If you're showing one of these, take the proof of that. Loan sanction letter, very important document if you've taken up a loan. Finally, we get to the bonus part. How did I get through without actually proving any finances? So in my interview, essentially what happened was the interviewer did ask me about how I'm going to afford the education overseas. Now, I actually cited that my father's salary is so-and-so, my mother's income is so-and-so, and combined their income is enough to actually afford my education. I have tax returns to prove that as well, and also salary slips. Now, while I had these documents and the salary was actually not covering 1 full year of tuition, to be very honest with you. It was, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of taxes go from the salary, right? So at the end of the day, it was not something that we needed to discuss over there, but these documents were still with me and I could still show that, I'm near about there. And what essentially happened was that the officer did not exactly ask me anything after that. They just approved my visa. They did not ask me to show those documents. They did not verify them. In a lot of cases, your confidence, the way you speak matters a lot. So if you're confident, you know what you're doing, trust me, you'll get through with or without it in a lot of cases. But of course, don't bank on that. In most of the cases, they will check your documents. So please, please, please take this video seriously. And this is the last step. We don't want to mess this up. Create documents, original documents. Don't go for fake agents or fake documents. We never recommend that. Your future is at stake here, my friend. All right? We don't want to be deported, do we? And subscribe to the channel if you like the content. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and thank you.